Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective, and
Collin here.
we are ready to bring you the 2-episode season finale, episodes 15 and 16 to Bad Batch season 2.
Yes.
Let me tell you, man, this was a journey we've been on
This season's been a big journey, and it's been these last 2 episodes show me why I love this show.
They really do. So yeah, let's dive into episode 15, the summit. We start out here at Pabu, where we last saw the Bad Batch, and they're still reviewing the information from Echo, and they get that there's the summit that we were
so we text like there's no background information that we could find on Hemlock. He's a ghost basically, and Echo comes right in at that moment, and he's like, actually, we've interrupted, got some intel from them, and on Hemlock about to attend this Imperial summit. Which, a summit is basically a bunch of creepy old men getting together to decide what's good for everyone else.
Yeah, right.
In real life and on Star Wars. So they're having an Imperial summit, and he's like, we got to go there, find Hemlock's ship, track it.
Yeah,
easy peasy, right? Like, kind of sounds easy peasy mission.
Right. Well, because
they got to break into a hard place. Don't get me wrong; it's going to take a lot of skill, but at the same time, like, this seems like a cut.
But they track it for multiple reasons. They find out where Hemlock is taking all of these, clones that have been acting up,
not only
acting
to
out,
rescue,
but then
clones, but also who else is
but
there?
the Bad Batch,
their homie,
is able to then find Crosshair as well. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
He's done them dirty, but they still love him at the end of the day. Especially Omega. She does, she only really saw him as kind of a bad guy.
Yeah,
a counter to them, but. Anyway, they're going to save Crosshair, and they start up on the mission by, tracking Hemlock, and that's going to be their idea.
Yeah. Tech and Fee have a little bit of a leaving.
Yeah, right after Fee says bye to Omega, Fee runs into Tech.
And was like, what? You're just going to leave without saying goodbye and stuff?
That's how it works. I'm coming back. I'll be back. There's no why say bye.
Yeah, I'll be back. And, I didn't... And he's like, did you require a briefing on it?
They're called conversations, basically.
Between friends, it's called conversations.
Me and you, human beings, talking to each other. Yeah, she's very much... She's very much into him, and you could tell, and it's cute. She's... basically trying to get across to him that I'm flirting with you, idiot.
Yeah, I'm flirting with you. Don't run off. Don't run off with smugglers or pirates.
Yeah. He's like, I wouldn't. That doesn't even have anything to do with this mission. But he's funny. I like Tech so much. Yeah. So their plan right now is to go to Tarkin's compound on Eriadu.
Yeah.
Eriadu. Yeah. And so they say their byes, and then we kind of cut to
the Imperial Summit.
To the summit, to Tarkin's summit. And it's exactly as you would expect of an Imperial summit look. It's like a dimly lit room. It's like a big table and whatever. Everyone's there with their Empire gear on, their Empire uniforms. And Hemlock comes to the room, bursting in the room late.
Yep, and Tarkin's like, you're late, and he's like, there's a matter that required my attention.
So creepy. Yeah. So very creepy. He's such a creepy character.
But then, Tarkin's like, all right, we're all here so we can begin. We get another hard cut back to the Marauder. And they're basically flying and then landing on Eriadu, trying to figure out how they can get past these sensors.
Yeah, so they're about to land, and they have clearance codes from an inside source that Echo keeps referring to in the Empire. And they have clearance codes, so they use them, but they land off base, so they're like, before they come and look for us, we better figure out what we're going to do. So they go through this, forest, finally get to this rail line looking thing. It's like a ski, at ski slopes, you see the carts that take people up and down.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they look like, but crazier and carry a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so their plan is to jump on the side of those.
Yeah.
And kind of sneak on.
Before they can do that, what does Tech have to do? He's got to shut down those sensors.
Yes.
And dude, let me tell you, this whole sequence here was so harrowing for me. Like,
Tech
so
Tech's on it in this episode. Like, he knows what to do, and he's the only one that can do it.
Right? Because, like, they can't do any explosions or anything that they would normally do to, like,
they can't just run in and have Wrecker just go crazy.
So they have to time it, though. So you start seeing the little red light that's the it's like almost like a Doppler basically going around. But you see the little red light going around. So Tech times it, shoots his little grapnel like gun, swings around to it, lands on top of it right as it like, dude, it's just great.
It just misses him, and it's
it's just great fun, harrowing stuff. Of course, then Tech, shuts down the sensor or disrupts it.
Yeah.
Because he says he can't.
If he turned it down, then that would bring more.
That'd sound a bunch of alarms and stuff. But he can disrupt it, and then they do a system reboot, and then they're like, "Oh, there was just a glitch in the system, and everything's fine or whatever." So that's what they do. The rest of the team gets on there, and oh man, it's so great. Yeah. They get on there, but then, dude, halfway through there, they start getting like shot at and stuff, and
it's not off to a good start like right away. They hop on the rail car,
they don't get
shot. It's just Wrecker's like, it's all right,
and then he looks down,
and then now they get to the compound without whatever, but then they start getting shot at, but they make quick work of these. Like, I think 3 stormtroopers pretty much immediately. And then we cut back to Tarkin, who is really on his you're seeing the evilness of this meeting.
Yeah.
And just like, he's like, we must establish a comprehensive strategy for galactic unification. And his whole thing is basically, I want people to stop being unique and individual. I need people to follow our orders,
Yeah. That was like wild stuff, because he's like, all this,
you're hearing what they really want compared to what they're telling the public what they want. You know what I mean? This is the meetings that we don't get to see ever. Like, these and this is the them just saying a lot.
Well, and then it's also like, so it's not only just Tarkin like just spewing like this like horrible stuff of like everyone is only a tool for us, and like like they are a piece to our cog and they will fit and we will make them fit, and like that, again, going back to the unification, deterring any dissent and stuff. And then it leads into the really weird conversation that Hemlock starts giving.
Yeah, because Tarkin's like, all right, let's start this off with the Advanced Science Division. Okay. Hemlock, what are you doing? Why is this costing so much money? And Hemlock just goes into the speech about the cloning program having unlocked potential, basically, in the Kaminoans. Once they can crack the Kaminoans' research, that it's going to be exactly what the Emperor wants, and that he's got a way to eventually alter things at the molecular level, and that's just very interesting because that leads to some questions. Anyway, it's pretty creepy, and he gets his point across, and Tarkin's in. Tarkin's totally in. But it's funny because this is the moment he's like, all right, it's kind of an offhanded remark, but he's like, he found a new purpose for these clone troopers.
For these clones that are dissenting, questioning, going against orders and stuff. He's like, instead of decommissioning them, how about you just let me experiment on them for what we're doing anyhow?
And he calls them imperial property.
Yeah.
So because someone dissents a little bit here, which you hope to see, even in a room full of the worst people, there's gonna be their interests don't always align. So one of them's basically like, I fought with the clones in the rebellion. They seem to be individual good people. Like, what are we doing? We really gonna do this to the people that helped fight for us to get where we are right now? And then Tarkin says, I fought with them too, and they were way too individual. Like, again, he wants to fight against this uniqueness that people seem to find when they have some freedom. And because he didn't like the way the Jedi were treating them as equals, basically.
And the final thing that they say is that in the Senate currently, right now, they are fighting for the clone Right, it's like the same guy who said
Yep.
that he fought with them and was just like bringing up.
Yeah,
another.
They know the Senate is fighting for this. So if they heard about it, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So like, and that was like part of the other thing. Like, do we really want to do this? Because that's gonna upset a lot of people in a lot of places.
Yeah. And then Tarkin's basically like, all right, to some other guy, he's like, tell me about Project Stardust.
Yeah.
Which is
well,
which is the Death Star project.
Yeah, which is
so like we're getting a little offhanded remark about Death Star, what ends up being the biggest. But we now know from the sequels that this cloning program too ends up having long use for the Empire.
Right. Well, because like Hemlock, like before they ask about the update on Project Stardust, like they're like, now Hemlock, okay, for all of you, your budget, like, how are you so safe? Like, what about your location? Like, and he's like, I'm just so far away from everyone's like purview from the Senate or anyone.
Nobody
really
even has paid attention.
And like, and anyone else is really what he says. And dude, like, that's like wild because like, they cut back to Tarkin in that of being like, oh, you're kind of like monitored,
so basically Tarkin gives him the go ahead.
Yeah,
he's like, go, yeah, that's fine,
go ahead and do it.
But so he's like, to end the scene, they just give a little Easter egg for Project Stardust, which is the Death Star project.
Then we cut to the ship hangar, and the Bad Batch has arrived. They're trying to figure out which ship is Hemlock so that they can put the tracker on it, the tracer on it, and
Omega's going to do that. They got, which I love. Well,
because Hunter, Echo, and Tech all go up to break into the manifest to figure out which ship is them. They call down on the comms.
So they're working from one angle. Omega and Wrecker are off trying to find the ships, and they find the bay, and they just wait for which one's them, and it's pretty cool.
And
it's the team working together, and they're being smarter than.
But even Omega's whole like covert op mission that she goes through of like walking with the stormtrooper like on the front end of him so that she's just out of his sight line, and then just stopping right before he like.
Yeah, she's getting to be
a real spy.
Yeah, a formidable like opponent for these, because like she's not afraid. She's shooting that arrow all the time now. Like we'll get to that. Like,
I mean, Hunter even said it like in a couple of episodes, maybe even last episode. Like all of her training is paying off.
Yes, yeah,
so,
it's like quickly paying off. I mean, that's clear from what was cloned from.
Yeah.
So whatever, but so Tech and Hunter, or sorry. Omega and Hunter are Omega and Wrecker?
Omega and Wrecker. So Omega is on her way to put the tracker on. Hunter and Tech leave the surveillance tower because they go to the other area where they find the thermals because they keep seeing like video surveillance systems
like, what's going on here? Yeah.
And stuff. But Echo is up there to still run the like manifest logs and
make sure they're doing
give Wrecker and Omega support from there.
And they get the support. They find the
thermals, and then like two stormtroopers show up. And who was it?
Saw Gerrera. Yeah, like, he's ready to take this compound down. Yeah. He got the same information Echo got. It's just they decided to go way different.
Well, but this is what Saw has done. Like every time
Saw
that we
is
see
a
him,
straight guerrilla warfighter, which I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm totally actually probably would agree with him if I was on the outside of the show. You know what I mean? If I didn't know how much more because like the Bad Batch is doing they're doing surgery right now.
Yeah,
he's just doing demolition. And that sometimes that's great. Sometimes that's especially in a revolution, you're going to need to do that type of stuff. But in this instance, he's clearly making the wrong decision, and he's kind of working against the Bad Batch's interests.
Well, even Tech himself says like, couldn't you be hurting your own cause?
Basically, because this is going to be looked at as terrorism, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Empire's looked at as the good guys across the universe.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, we see that people hate them all the time, but they're the ruling class. That yes, they gain that through like means of that normal. It's not like democracy or something, but the average folk probably doesn't care.
Yeah.
So they'll just look at this and be like, oh wow, they're these terrorists coming, these insurgents they call them, just came and take out these nice military people.
Yeah.
That's the way you got to look at it, right? Like, there's a perspective of, like, just the regular people don't necessarily think the Empire is evil. Yeah. We only know the Empire is evil because we have an inside look into this. We're seeing the summit. Yeah. The average person doesn't see that, Tarkin, and they're talking about the Death Star and cloning programs to basically control the universe.
Absolutely. And then, so Hunter and Tech dip out after they leave Saw, they all are like, we're compromised. Or Tech and Hunter are like, we're compromised.
Like, sweet that we finally got the that Omega got the thing on there. And but yeah, whatever. And Omega's got her own problems going on because she's more stormtroopers show up and she is kind of trapped. And at this point's kind of cool because Echo helps her out from the control tower. Yeah, he uses
he sends a crane going flying as a distraction.
He sends grabs a crane like that as a magnet. Grabs like a ship, uses it to knock over some
stuff or whatever,
and use that as a distraction for Omega to get away. Omega thinks she's away, and a little mouse droid comes up, and Wrecker's like nah. And steps on that thing
and destroys it.
And
it's so good.
Tech and Hunter, then they have that thing with Saw Gerrera, and Tech's like, I like that point where he was like, victory will be short-lived as their ranks are replenished. Like, these people are, at the end of the day, replaceable. Yeah. All of these people. Like, that's what the military's for. There's always someone behind you ready to step up into your shoes. Like, that's the whole point. Like, so to say, like, you could take out these generals and, like, the war is going to be won, that's not, like, necessarily how it's going to work, especially this early in the game,
Yeah. Then we get a cut back because, like, as they're running, they're compromised. They got to try and get to the hangar. Saw Gerrera... It blows up everything.
Yep. Security's alerted, yeah.
And so we get a cut back to the summit room, and everything's all, like, rumbling and stuff in there, and Tarkin's just like, take your seat, gentlemen. We are safe and sound in here, as you can see. We do not need to worry about them. As, like, the Imperial troopers are, like, coming in and, like, coming to, like, defend them and stuff. It's awesome.
So the Saw starts blowing everything up. They're running to the rail line, basically back to the rail line because they have no other choice. Their plans out the window. They're just trying to survive at this point. They're starting to escape on it, but Saw blows up the compound, including Hemlock's ship and the honing device. So like literally their mission's just pointless now. But as they're starting to climb up, the power goes out because of the explosions knocked the power out, of course.
So they're stuck out there on that rail line.
Yeah. The power so Saw, at this point, really not looking too great. And his plan is just, they didn't even get to blow up the good part. You know what I mean? Like,
well, because that's part of the thing. It's like that meetup of the Bad Batch and Saw there then also throws Saw's plan off of also planting more thermals around. Yeah. Because, like, they were like, well, we still have to do this. And they were like, no just, like, forget it. Like
they would have gone up and dropped another thermal near where Tarkin probably was. Yeah. And that would have been maybe a little more effective at the long run. But the fact that they're just getting the grunts, it's like, all right, Saw, you're just the idiot. Yeah. You're just making stupid mistakes. Yeah. And that's going to hurt the rebellion get help.
Yeah, and so the rail line shorts out, the Bad Batch, and then there's also the oncoming trooper rail car so there's that stops.
Each rail car has two on it too. So like there's two going this way and two coming back, and the other one has troopers on it, and the power goes out, and then they're like, what are we gonna do? Quickly, Tech's like, all right, I got this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, what are we going to do? And then the episode stops. Like the episode cuts off, and that's it for, episode 15. Yeah. And that's it. It's great. I loved it. But let's dive right into episode 16 here, Plan 99.
Yeah, I pretty much treated these two as one episode. Yeah, it's like you could stop at but that's not like that wasn't an ending.
Yeah,
that was just like a to be continued. Yeah. So pretty quickly here, they're stuck. Their Tech just like, all right, I got to get the power back on.
Yeah. He thinks he can reboot the system and get the power back going to them and reboot the system to get the power generated back to the rail car and everything like that. And then Tech will be able to drive their rail car to the other station and get them hopefully out of there.
Yep.
Tech reaches the terminal. We get there's just firefight the entire time.
Yeah, they're shooting with the other stormtroopers on the other thing, and they're just they're not having a good time escaping right now.
We see one stormtrooper just fall.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was wild. We get a cut back.
I was surprised I didn't hear I don't think I heard the Windhelm scream. At that moment, I'm surprised. But anyway, yeah. So we go back to Tarkin.
Yeah, we get back to the summit room.
And this is pretty bad because Tarkin's just he's ready to just kill. He gets news that these insurgents are on this rail car. He's like, cool, blow them up. What are we doing? What are we waiting for? He's like, what do you mean? There's troopers there too. Like you're gonna hurt our forces. Tarkin's like, I do not care. That has nothing to do with what I just said.
Why are we having this conversation?
I already told you what we're doing. Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's again, it just shows how they are. It's all about the Emperor. It's not about the anything else.
It's not about anything else. We see the TIE fighters go off. We get back to the rail line,
and those are pretty cool. Seeing those fighters are pretty cool. Seeing launch off. Because you know how they everything kind of you never really saw that before in Star Wars, and now you're starting to see it more and more, and it's really cool to see the takeoffs and the landings and things like that. Like how does that happen outside of space? How does that happen on a planet better? Yeah.
I also just like seeing also the evolution of the early TIE fighter of what that is to what we end up getting later in the original trilogy and stuff like that. So it's great.
Episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But so this is kind of an interesting part because the air support knocks the lift loose pretty quickly a little bit, and the power's back on, but one of the cars is falling off.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, because the TIE fighters come in and shoot the rail car,
and it bumps it off a little bit, but it still could probably snap back on and go. But Tech's got to get back, and they can't just leave yet.
Yeah, they can't get it back because Tech finishes. They get the power.
He starts running. He gets across, and then another one comes. Another TIE fighter comes, hits it. And now it's completely unhinged, and Tech's hanging from that second rail car.
Because Tech is hanging. He has to shoot his grapnel thing back up there, and he starts having to climb up the rope, but it's very slowly.
Yeah. And Wrecker's like, "Hurry up!" He's like, "I'm literally going as fast as I can. You're not helping." And then so Wrecker sees he's just kind of being an idiot, so he kind of holds the thing, and he goes down and tries to maybe go down.
Pull it up.
Tech's like, no, dude, you're gonna knock this thing off.
We can't shift weight. Yeah. We can't shift weight. Don't do it.
Tech calls an audible.
Yeah.
Tech calls Plan 99.
Yep.
Which we don't know what technically it is. There could be something later, but as far as we know now, Tech sacrifices himself and falls to his death.
He shoots the wire.
Yeah. He says, wait, what does he say here? He says, when have we ever followed plans? When have we ever followed orders? Yeah, and it's just, I love that line so much because Wrecker tells him to come back, don't do this. And when have we ever followed orders?
Yep.
And boom, he shoots the part of the train car that was stuck. It falls. He falls with it, and that's it. And whew, that was rough. That was rough because they worked a lot on Tech this season.
Yeah,
a lot of people like Tech. Just as far as I can see on the internet and stuff like that, it seems like Tech has been this season's darling.
Yeah,
and oh man, but I also love it. I love that Star Wars is willing to go there sometimes.
Yeah, ripping at our heartstrings here.
Yeah,
that sucked.
So. He saves the day though.
Because then the rest of the train hits back up to the tracks and then bam, Echo shoots him off. But there ain't no brakes on this train as Echo finds out, and they go freaking tumbling through the station wall door, dude. Yeah. The station wall, not station wall door doesn't make sense, but they go through the station wall.
Yeah, the station wall. I get what you're saying. Yeah, they go through the wall of the station that they're entering because there's no brakes and it kind of dead. It blacks out and you kind of wake Omega waking up to this destruction all around him. Calls for Tech. It's so sad because she's probably got a concussion or something, and then she falls back. into like a daze.
And then it's like a fever, like
and then
dream,
this
basically.
part is really cool how it's
getting to
first person, first person through Omega's eyes, camera work. I love it. It's a sad moment, and it's Wrecker carrying her and Hunter and Echo protecting her to get back to the Marauder, and it's a harrowing seeing this and seeing Omega down and knowing Tech's gone, and it's a good. The camera work was really cool in the scene.
Yeah, they get
and
back.
then Omega wakes up in her bed and
they wake up at you hear when they get to the Marauder and they kind of fly off, like go to Ord Mantell, which is Sid's place.
They go to Sid's place and she wakes up in the bed there.
In the bed there. Hunter's there. AZ's there.
Yeah, I love AZ. I love his design or her design. It's a robot. Yeah. Its design. I love its design. I like its little weird little leg things, but it doesn't need legs because it floats.
Because it floats like that. This was actually awesome when we see this because Wrecker is really worried about Omega and stuff, and
this is another scene. Hunter's talking to her, just kind of explaining that he's gone. He sacrificed himself. This is it. And she's like, no, we got to go back and save him. That's not an option. That's clearly not an option. First of all, it was hard getting on that planet in the first place. Now we have eyes on us, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And he basically says, we could stop. We could stop doing this.
Yeah.
If you want, we can go to Pabu and live a normal life. And she's like, yeah. I don't really like this anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to do this either.
I don't really want to do this anymore. I can't lose anyone else. And then you see Wrecker wiping his tears away, and he walks out of the room, and it's like, yeesh. Yep. But they're not going to waste Tech's sacrifice, is what Hunter says, and that convinces Omega to at least, all right, we could live, at least, because I know that's what he would have wanted. Yeah,
because Omega's like, what does that mean? And it's like it means that he sacrificed himself so that we can keep on living. Yeah, and we're not gonna waste that, and we're gonna do it. Mm-hmm. Then we go out to
Sid, who looks all anxious and down and weird and nervous. Mm-hmm. She's behind the bar and gives Wrecker a free drink.
This one's on the house.
Yeah.
And he's like, won't help.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a weird conversation. Goggles. That's just, she cares, but she's very, weird in this moment.
We get a quick cut to Echo on the Marauder with Gonki.
Yeah, Gonki warns Echo the Empire is showing up.
Yeah.
And then Echo tells...
tries to call on the comms, can't get them. And then Sid, is like...
explains to Wrecker basically what she did.
Yeah.
She's like, you guys brought too much heat.
Yeah, you guys brought too much heat to my place after all of this. And he's like, what did you do? Mm-hmm. And, she's like, I tried to look out for you, but... too much heat wherever you go, and sorry, Muscles. Mm-hmm. And then we get the Empire, just bunch of troopers,
busting,
and Hemlock just busting, take Wrecker into custody, basically in the cuffs. We get Hunter sending Omega down the little
so they figure it out, and they
stuff.
Omega and AZ he sends down into this sewer tunnel system or whatever, and the vent system, and to get out of there, go find Echo. You guys get out of here. I'll do what I got to do. This isn't worth your life. This is exactly what we're fighting for here. Just go. And they're climbing through the vents, and Omega starts stalling to get before she gets to Echo, and this one Hunter runs into
Hemlock
and his soldiers who have Wrecker at gunpoint, basically. Yeah,
at gunpoint, and Hemlock's just like, hand over Omega, and I'll let you keep breathing. Omega's not going anywhere with you.
No, Hunter's not having it. He's trying to figure out what they're gonna do.
Hemlock tries to really get underneath Hunter's,
and he does, and he really does.
Hunter's
I think he
skin
does
with the goggles.
Yeah, he throws. He's like, "I'm sorry, you lost your friend." All this, he throws Tech's goggles at him. It's like, this is all we could find, basically, which was very oh.
I think he has Tech.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. It did seem very certain when he said this is all we could find, which might to me mean Tech got away.
I mean,
on his own, but also that could have been found. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We'll find out next season, or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. So Hemlock's really just the worst, and really Omega and AZ are up in the fence listening in this whole time.
Yeah.
And she wants to go back and like she wants to fight right now, but AZ's like, come on, what do you? No, we can't. And she convinces her. She's convinced to like kind of keep going, but once Hunter turns himself in, because he's basically like, oh yeah, I told you you're never gonna get Omega.
Because the trooper comes back from looking in that room and it's like she's not there, and he's like I said,
she's gone.
She's long gone, and she's not going anywhere with you. Then the troopers and Hemlock bring out Hunter and Wrecker out into the streets, starting to get ready to ship them off to like wherever. Oh, ship them off to Tarkin because Tarkin really wants to talk with them. And then Omega takes a shot at Hemlock after sending AZ over to Echo.
Yeah, so they get out of the vents, and she sends AZ off to Echo, and you're like, no! What are you doing? So, yeah, she goes and tries to save the day, which I get. Come on. I get. But at the same time, she's putting everyone else in more danger, I think. And she has her arrow to Hemlock, and just some trooper comes up and grabs her, and it's just like, this is what we meant. And this is a pretty cool scene because we get Echo and what's his name, AZ kind of figuring out like what they got to do.
Yeah, and they take the little like mini AT-ATs basically.
Yeah, so they take these
walkers.
Yeah, they take these AT-ATs and
start shooting up the city and whatnot.
Yeah,
to get Hunter and like Wrecker basically free, and to works. Also try and like unbeknownst to them at that time to try and get like Omega back. Yeah, because like the trooper came up behind Omega, knocked her out and all of that. And like this is just like great. And Hemlock was making all those crazy promises of like they'll be fine, just come with me. I'm gonna
which you knew wasn't gonna be true.
I'm gonna reunite you with like Nala Se and stuff. And like none of that was gonna happen or anything like that.
They were going to be reprogrammed or whatever he's doing in experiments he would be doing on them, and it was going to be horrible for everyone.
But Hunter and Wrecker escaped the holdings once,
which was awesome. All right, okay.
Yeah, Wrecker's just kind of like bam, and then like he like I don't know cuts or like rips kind of like Hunter's apart too, as like Echo's in his walker like blowing things up and whatnot. His walker gets taken out by an Imperial one or whatever, and Echo meets up with Hunter and Wrecker, and Hunter's like, Hemlock has Omega. We gotta get to the Marauder. We gotta follow it. We gotta track it. We gotta do everything we can. And unfortunately, they just don't get there in time. Yeah. Hemlock's ship gets out. They get to the Marauder way too late after that ship already enters into like exits the space or the planet's atmosphere into space and into hyperspace.
They're kind of literally at ground zero. They don't. Yeah. They have nothing. They have no information. They're unable to track Hemlock. They're gonna have to work every day until they find her.
Yeah.
They don't stop searching until we find her. Basically, that's what he says. And yeah. So then we cut to them. That's sad, but they have their mission for next season at least. And
then we get the little epilogue here.
Yeah.
That's basically. I mean, and like I don't mean it's like a post-credit scene.
No. Literally an epilogue where we're following up with what happened to Omega.
Yeah. Basically, we're at the Tetanus base, and like. He gives her off to Hemlock gives her off to one of the people there. Have her see to her injuries.
Yeah, we see Nala Se first. Yeah. We see Nala Se, and she looks devastated. She's like, "Oh no!" And Hemlock's like, "Yeah, I heard you had a little.
Yeah,
I heard you were a little close to this one, and maybe you'll do what the Emperor wants now." And she's like, "Literally, it can't be done." And he's like, "Figure it out."
And if you fail, like you
know what happens.
Yeah.
And then so Omega is off to meet Emery, who's gonna check her out. So she goes to this room, and it's filled with all these clones we know what they're going through. They're getting experimented on, and one of these clones happens to be Crosshair, and she runs over to him, but he's He's under.
Yeah, he's like knocked out, sedated, whatever it is, whatever. But yeah, he's knocked out,
and Emery walks in and says he's recovering.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Don't worry, he's fine. And I'm surprised that you show so much affection to him. She's like, and Omega's like, what do you mean? What? I don't even know you.
Yeah.
And
that's when she reveals, oh, well, you should, because I'm your sister.
And it's like, what?
Yeah, because you do start hearing the similarities in the voice. I'm like, wait a second.
Wait a second. Yeah. You do sound like an older Omega.
Yep.
Damn it. So yeah, and then we basically zoom out after that, and like we go to black, and then we cut to credits. And
because who is she?
Yeah.
Why did they clone her? Is it because of her? She's you know what I mean? Like, why is she mixed with?
Is she the inside source, and that's why she is that why she's doing the experiments?
They did lean into maybe the inside source, being maybe Saw. Mm-hmm. Right, but I don't think that's. I'm with you on that. I don't think that. I think because he got the same information, mm-hmm. so that information had to come from somewhere.
Come from the same source.
Yeah.
Which I'm throwing it out there. It could be Emery.
Yeah, I don't. They're playing her as evil.
I don't know. I don't know how evil she is though, because she does do the experiments.
We went through this with Crosshair. Yeah, no, exactly. But they're also she's on the side of evil. Yeah. Doesn't always mean the people are evil that are working in these facilities. It does mean, like in The Mandalorian, we had the doctor who wasn't
Pershing.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to be bad. He wanted to do good science, and then had to work for who he had to work for. And in each stage, it just wasn't good.
But I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
I hope we get
season 3 needs to happen now.
Yeah, I hope we get a season 3 announcement pretty soon or whatever about a confirmed one or a start date or something like that. I'm really excited. I really hope we get more. Bad Batch is awesome. This has been an incredibly exciting season. And
yeah,
I've just loved every little second of it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. You got any more final thoughts here?
Just I love it, and I want it to keep going. It's a show that I hope goes for at least 5 seasons.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Get a few more out of us. That'd be great. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I am Jimmy with the Triple C Collective.
I'm Collin.
And we want to thank you all for joining us here for Bad Batch Season 2, Episodes 15 and 16, the 2-episode season finale to Season 2 of The Bad Batch. We hope you all stay safe. Please like and subscribe to our video. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Hey.